So this is going to be a general update video about Funtime Freddy and the two current issues I have with him. One is his eyelids, again, and this big one is his neck. I'll go into each and I'll just explain the pain. So, for his eyelids to work properly, they have to be perfectly aligned with the center of the eyeball. So, can't be too far to the left, or when the eyeball moves, it grinds against it. You can hear it. You can kind of see it too. With the alignment, it's really far on this side. It should be more pushed in that way. The main reason because of that is that right there. So pretend this piece right here is supposed to be, that's the flat part, and this part right here is also supposed to be aligned with that, but it's not. It's warping. And it's not because, the part warped in print. It's mainly because of how the holder works. See, the old holders, they used a bearing instead of what I use now. This thing right here. Originally, the eyelid holder, or the servo holder right here, would have sat directly in the middle of this bearing piece. And that's what would have kept it, as flush as possible, but I changed that to this design. Instead of using a bearing, I just used a heated insert. So there's a heated insert on this part, and there would be a heated insert on this part. And I would just, then screw the parts together, and that would make it a nice tight fit. Problem. Not only does, when this rotates, technically it's getting unscrewed, so it's going outwards like that, but just a tiny amount. If the heated insert for this part or this part is not perfectly flush, you'll get something like that. I'm not even sure if it's totally this, or if it's just the eyelid holder is getting warped when it's getting printed. But, that's something to figure out trial and error. Now for his neck, there's a big problem. Since all of the weight, most of the weight, all these servos, all the big servos are on the back side here, that means his entire back of his head is going to be back heavy, especially when I get the top plate installed. The only thing that's giving him like any type of forward weight is this right here, this big ass nose, and right here, and the eye section. But if you look at what happens if I tilt his head too far back, this is why he acted weird in that animation, because I had to worry about this. So this is supposed to be his neutral position, but he's so back heavy, if I let go, the servos lose all control, and there he goes. Ha! He falls backwards. So, for one, this, the joint that's actually for his neck, too low. It needs to be a lot higher, and the servos and the connection has to be further back towards the weight. That's what I'm trying to figure out Future 360. So, here in Fusion, you can kind of get a better look at what I'm talking about here. So, since all of the weight, let's just say right here, all that weight up, the joint is really, and I mean really far forward, way more than it should. All the weight's up here, all the weight's up here, from like all the way up. You can see the servo for his middle plates right there, and the connection point is way the fuck down here. So, that's a problem. Also, ignore the dementia, that's a live stream thing. But the reason why I did this, because I swapped this from Glamrock Chica. Glamrock Chica's design, her head wasn't too heavy, so this wasn't a problem. But with Funtime Freddy, with all of those back servos I need to worry about, it's something I now need to bring in consideration. And it's going to be complicated because, one, his endo jaw here relies on this open channel for the connection, and this endo part holds the servos for the middle plates right here. So this still has to move on this, Control Z. It still has to move on, can't find the joint. Ah, there it is. It still has to move on to this joint. The whole thing needs to. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So, I have to figure out a way to pull this connection back, not interfere with this inner endo jaw, not interfere with the servo positions. If I move these too much, And these positions right here have to be altered in any way. I have to reprint this part twice for both sides. It's 2 parts because of size, so that's not a big deal. I'd rather not do that. My plan is to take this center spine right here. I intend to alter it so that not only does it hold up the other spine that holds the eyes and other parts in place, but we'll basically just hold this back here, and hopefully that fixes it. I haven't got around to doing that. I've been working on other stuff, mainly trying to clean up my room, and how'd that get in here? But yeah. So that's basically Funtime Freddy right now. Just he's in pain and misery. Oh yeah, I'm also experimenting with Bon Bon's eye. You know, his jump scare eye, like how his pupils dilate. And I was gonna try to do that. You better turn off that computer, Carl meme, but I gave up because there's no way I'm doing that without that even remotely close to being done. So probably tomorrow I'm going to redesign this to not only put this way back there, but also to bring it up more so it's not so low, and probably push the servos back. The main issue is that right here is where the servo sits that connects to this point right here, and that's what opens and lowers the jaw. This has no clearance. Like if you look at how close this is to the part, it's really, really close. Like it barely skins by, so I have to be careful. But that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. And once I get that fixed, I can then start connecting everything, because the only thing I'm really waiting on is to get his eyes figured out, because since his since the servos that control not only the middle pieces of his head but also are going to be controlling the top, they are going to be possibly in the way of the eyelid holder, because you can actually see the difference. This is the old position of these servos. This is the new one. I pushed them further back so that when this thing rotates, it doesn't worry about hitting it. Oh, also, found out trial and error by accident, is that these connection points here, when it rotates, they kind of bump into each other. So I'm probably just going to take that and just fillet them flat. So hopefully that will fix that problem. And I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with that. I really don't want to have to reprint this entire part here that holds up his eyes just to have that on there. I might just have a part extend out and just glue it on there. I'm not sure. I might just do whatever. And I'm hoping to go to Home Depot probably sometime this week or next week to get flex tubing. I don't know exactly how much it weighs, how it's going to affect the weight, but I'm going to try to get flex tubing in here, especially in his jaw. I'm going to try that really hard. I really want to get that whole tubing endo effect. I would do the same thing for a circus baby, but as far as I'm concerned, she is done. I'm only keeping her in that condition until I need her for a video. Don't look at me like that. Anyway, that's it. That's it for me. Oh, Bon Bon the eyeball reindeer. Me, meow, 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 meow. Oh, just let me die.
I will eat your soul, haha.